Good morning, traders, and welcome back to Framework Fortune. I'm your host, Ben, and we are diving into some live trading here today. So, all three of my swing trades working out pretty well so far. KAVL, I did lock a little bit out in after hours yesterday, but still held just a little bit of shares, and it's currently flagging here, so I'm up a little bit in the green there. BKKT, not far away from my entry, just 3 cents. So if BKKT can break out here, which Bitcoin touched 45,000, I don't know where it's at exactly right this second, but if Bitcoin continues to break out, then I expect BKKT to continue to break out. And then, I missed that little rip there on CFVI up to 16 out the gate. I didn't realize it did that, but that's okay. Still in the green on that one. Looks like it's trying to hold 15. So all three swings not looking too bad here at the moment. The SPY had a nice rebound, but just because the SPY had a rebound from yesterday's big sell-off doesn't mean we're out of the woodworks. Because you look at the SPY on the daily, we still got to break this downtrend. 450 is also major resistance. And then we have the 50-day at 454. It's also got to break above the 10-day at 446. So just a ton of resistance that the SPY is running into. We'll see. We'll see if it can get through it or not. But that's why we're seeing a lot of plays green today. See RESN. Looks like they probably got bought out. Nothing there either. TSI. That has a similar pattern to KEVL where it's got a lot of room up to the 200. So I'm going to put that on the watch list. Morning, Donnell. Good morning, Lori Lee. What's up, Lauren? Good morning, David Davis. Good morning, Eric. You missed being here? Well, I'm glad you're here with us today again, bud. I know, sometimes this last couple of weeks has been a little bit crazy for me in the schedule because of everything going on with the coin, which, by the way, Framework Fortune Token is now officially a token on the Solana registry. So we are now official, baby. Let's go. Next on the agenda will be creating a market pool. But before that, remember, first 100 members of FrameworkFortune.com will be getting an airdrop of Framework Fortune token as soon as the airdrop is ready, which should be soon. We have 9 spots, I think, left at FrameworkFortune.com for the first 100 member signups for this first airdrop. So if you haven't yet, go check out FrameworkFortune.com. It's free. All you got to do is sign up with your email. Try to get in there and get some of this Framework Fortune token before we get this project really, really rolling and make this token and everything behind the token have some true value. So PKKT is trying to push. Interesting play on TSI. If it continues to follow this uptrend, we may be able to catch a play on that. KAVL still trying to break this 325. This is the exact pattern back here that TSI was. I may actually hop in this as a trade here. Oh, it's a day trade too. I'd be buying. I don't want to buy at the top though. I'm already in it, so let's just let it do its thing. CFVI cracking a little bit there. Okay, let me clear out my list a little bit. No, that's not doing anything I wanted to. COE, and we'll keep COE on watch because it's got that same uptrend with all that room up to the 200. TCBP, that thing sold off. INDO, the drop down to 450, but flat topping on the bottom of 450. That's really weird. I just want to make sure TSI is going to hold up. Continue this trend line. It's testing this 125. Let me see. This might be more of a... It's kind of dojing right on the trend line. Let me keep going through this list. So KAVL, getting a little rejection there. IMTE with a nice pop today. Very nice pop. It's one I'm been keeping an eye on, but getting rejected there. ISIG, that looks like trash. KCSP, maybe. We'll keep that on watch. Rally with a sharp sell-off. Back down to its trend line. SBEV had a gap down. ARB. Nothing there. IMMX. IMX on 4. It may be a possible play. Let's see, what's the SPY doing right now? SPY seems to be, it's getting held up at 445. SPY doesn't break 445 here. We coming back down. But that's causing some of these plays to give up a little bit. CITM, I don't like that. Got a bunch of higher float stocks. Well, there's a little bit of everything moving. Ooh, look at the chart pattern on this nasty thing. Oh, I don't like that float. The float's too ugly. Mara is a blockchain. I think they're a miner, crypto miner. And you can see them getting a nice push up today too. Ooh, there's a huge gap to fill there. I'm going to put ALK on watch too. See, TSI still not. Let's see, we got a minute for this candle to close. Then depending on what happens, we may start looking for an entry. KCSP starting to move. Nice little U shape. I like this a lot better. I'm gonna start building a little bit of a position here. Shit, it may just start breaking out. I'm gonna get a little bit bigger position in case it does start going. Running pretty strong resistance here. Break at 850 though. And this thing could go. Here's our little uptrend we're on at the moment. And a little double top there on the 15-minute. We need to see this break over 833 if it's going to start going. Yep, you can see the resistance right there on the level 2, and we just broke through it. Here we go up to 850. So we got real close. We got to 847. We did peak over that little market open high there. And breaking through 850 up to 863 it looked like. We're giving a nice test here. See if we can hold 850. We hold 850, I think we'll move on up to 9. We're still struggling with it. So where is this downtrend at? This downtrend, yeah, the downtrend is also at 850. This is a lot of resistance at 850. We got to break. Here we go, another test, testing, breaking through. We gotta, gotta see those bids stack with 850. Let me look at the 5 minute. Ooh boy, this 5 minute looks nice. Good morning, Michelle. Charlie's doing good. Awesome to hear, Michelle. I'm looking at KSCP right now. I mean, there's a couple stocks I'm looking at, but the one that I'm actively trading at the moment is this one. Looking for this break at 850, and there we go. We got some bids stacking over 850. Let's see, we may have a little resistance at 860 as well, because you can see this where we hit at on the wick, and then this little wick here is at 860, but well, never mind. Never mind. There we go. We could see some resistance at 875. Nope, we're still getting held up at that 860 area. Looks like we was going to break out of it for a second and continue on, but still struggling. Bids continuing to stack at 850. We need to see new buyers start to feel comfortable. We don't want the buyers who are trying to hold 850 to give up. Look on the hour chart how this is looking. Ooh, on the hour chart, this is also the 200-day moving average. So we got tons of resistance to get through. But because there's so much resistance, if we can pop this resistance, this thing should make a nice move. All right, that 5 minute candle, possible double top, unless we start shooting up here. And we are starting to push a little bit again. Pushing that 860 area. You know, 850 strong resistance. It's resistance all over the place. This 850 to 860 area. Testing 860. Come on, let's see some bids over 860. Hurt my feelings. Hurt my feelings here. Let's see. KAVL. This is starting to give up. I'm going to go ahead and lock out the rest of this. It's not going to be much profit, but it will be some little $8 win there. PKKT, I'll still hold you for a minute. CFVI, you're still fine. All right. We're doing decent to hold up 850. It's just we're struggling really hard to get through that 860 because that's where that 200-day moving average is on the hour chart, along with all that other resistance I pointed out earlier. Just need to see Nice little buying volume push. Can we get through here? We are fighting and fighting and fighting. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Starting to break out. Let's go. Come on. Let's see 875 on that ask. I'm going to see 875 on the ask, and then we'll see it get blown out. Still getting rejected. We were so close to going. This thing is really being ridiculous. What's the float on this? Yeah, 14 million shares. This thing is super low float. See, here's our actual uptrend. Oh yeah, you can see it's beautiful on the 1 hour chart. This big consolidation-ish pattern. What is that line doing? Let's just take that line off. Oh yeah, that was that short-term uptrend. See, SPY seems to be... Whoops. We got off the... Why did I... There we go. Yeah, SPY still struggling with that 450 area. So we are a little ways off this uptrend. And I'm seeing this uptrend. We don't break here soon. If we don't break here soon, I'm just going to take this little win. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, come on. Let's get on up there. 875, testing it, blowing through it. Blowing through it. Can we keep going? Let's get this pushed to 9. Nope, we're going to piddle at 875 for a second. Yep. Hitting the resistance is right there. There's the peak at 875. So we're probably going to fumble around here for a second. But we don't want to fumble around here too long. We don't want to be held up every 25 cents. Because $9 is going to be very strong resistance. So I'm actually going to take a little bit off. I'm going to take 10 shares off. Just to be a smart boy. Now I'm down to 30. Just because it is taking a little bit of time here at 875. And we are off the uptrend. Like it's down here at 7.75. So that's a whole dollar that this could drop if it doesn't hold up. Can we break? Up. Nope. Couldn't even get past 873 that time. If we don't hold above 860, I'm just going to take the whole play. All right, here we go. Another test to 875. There's a big seller sitting at 874. Need a break soon. So we got 30. Let me look at the 15-minute here. We got 30 seconds on the 15-minute. Little crack below 860 if we do not rebound immediately. I'm getting out. Yeah, possible double top here on the 15-minute. Okay, so there's buyers sitting at 857, so I'm going to put a stop loss right at 855. I don't want to put it in. I know these damn market makers try to yank me down. I don't know. Let me see what I want to do here. Do I want to put the stop loss in? Or I want to keep my hand on the trigger. Alright, we're trying to push back up a little bit. See, CFVI is back over 15. Got a new little uptrend there. So in the green on that trade. BKKT is the only thing I'm not in the green on. And I may cut it if it doesn't. Let me check cryptos real quick. Let's see what's going on over there. Yeah, so Bitcoin flagging at 45,000 basically. This is a 2-hour chart, so if we see another big leg up on Bitcoin, over up to 45,000. We can break 45,000. Boy, it is on. And you see Ether hitting right at the top of the trend line. If it can break that, woo, boy. Oh, we did just get a little pop up there to 886 while I was looking at that. That was a very quick pop. But we did break over 875 again. Or not again, but actual one good time so far. I think we're going to go ahead on the 9 with that little wick up we just had. Let's see it. Yeah, come on. Your 875 is starting to try to hold as support. If that holds as support, we're good to go. See, it's still trying. Still a little rejection. 870. There we go. Come on, get those bids back over 875. There we go. Let's see the bid stacking at 875. Now we should see it go on and push up. Buyer just moved in. Well, he got taken out. Never mind. It's 5,000 shares at 880. But 880 is starting to hold as support now. Ooh, interesting opening up higher. I think we opened up above 8. Yeah, we opened up above 875. Let's see if continue to hold here. Let me look at the 15-minute. So the good thing is we did not make a double top. We're out of that danger. But you start slowing down on me. Yeah, SPY's still going sideways, trying to test at 445, but it's struggling. I mean, it's been struggling all morning since market opened to try to break over that, so that's a little sketchy. Here we go. Come on. Let me see something here. Let's look very close at these candles. So actually, none of these have double top. This one didn't even double top because it opened up higher than that previous one. We are just consolidating. Ooh, I don't like that. Look at that. Look at the 15-minute chart, though. That pullback down to 860. We could crack. Now I'm putting a stop loss in on this. Just put 854. If those market makers reach down there, they reach down there. I don't care. I'll be in the green anyway. It doesn't matter. It won't be very much green, but regardless, it will be in the green. Because I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, another problem is now we've confirmed this downtrend, which is what we're hitting right against. Now, if I would have got in this down here off of the trend line somewhere, that would have been one thing, but I got in a little bit high. You know, I got in at 830, so it's a little higher than I'd like. But I didn't realize there was a 5-day uptrend until after I got in. But still, pretty decent play. I'm taking whatever the market gives me. So if it only gives me $10 a trade, $15 a trade, hell, as long as I'm green on them, and I don't have any losses, then we'll just, or at least I don't have any big losses, then at least we'll be all right. Uncertain markets like this, better just to get whatever profits you can. CFVI still holding above 15. There we go. There's a nice little short-term uptrend. KAVL, yes, that's still could bounce off a 3, but also could crack. This is a very sideways consolidation movement. KCSP may crack here. Because this right here, this big rejection, yeah, there's the crack. So $11 profit on it, nothing big. And I got the 790 on KAVL, so I'm up about $19 on the week here. Because I didn't take any losses yesterday. I only made that one trade, and then I held it. What was that? I think, if I remember correctly. Oh, no, it was CFVI. Yeah, I got in CFVI. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, in CFVI yesterday. That was the only trade that I took, and I just held it. I would have liked to locked it out at 16, but oh well. It's still holding up good. My entry's at 489. It's at 1508, so not too bad. BKKT starting to push up right now. We may see BKKT have a breakout soon. Break over 775. Well, actually 775 to $8 is very strong resistance. And we can go ahead and remove this downtrend because we clearly have broken the downtrend. But right across here, you see 775 is real strong, as it had problems back here, here, trying to break out. And we do have a little uptrend on this as well, so we'll go ahead and draw that out. Okay. Good deal. Thank you, Lori. I know it wasn't an amazing trade, but like I said, in this market, I've been losing on stupid trades and just not locking out profits, and that's causing me a lot of losses over the last 2 months of December. Looking back at my trader sync, I was actually green on the year last year in October, and that last 2 months is what put me in the red on the year last year. Just just this volatile market and me trying to catch big breakouts and stuff. It's hard to do because we'll see one thing that looks like it's going to break out and then it just stops dead in its tracks and dumps, and some random something else breaks out or whatever. It's always something. So in this volatile market, I'm just taking profits now, just whatever. I'm not going to be holding things too long like I was. Now I'll swing if it's a good swing trade. Like KAVL was a beautiful swing trade. Why'd you show my entry? There it is. Been uptrending. So obviously, I like the uptrends when I'm swinging. Yeah, see KCSP getting rejected hard right there. And so it's probably going to come back down to like 820, or it could come all the way back down to the trend line at 780, 775. But a pullback down to the trend line, that would be a nice possible entry there. So we'll see what happens with it. Let's keep an eye on BKKT for a minute, because BKKT is getting, look at this nice little 5-minute healthy movement. Looks like it wants to possibly go here soon. Yeah, 15-minute not looking too bad. Let's see the hour chart. How we look on the hour chart. Alright, so hour chart, you can see $8. 50-day moving average is there. That's where it's been getting held up at. So $7.75 and $8 is going to be very strong. Oh, that's the daily chart. Well, still. Oh, there we go. On the hour chart, looking real nice. And you see we've had this nice uptrend, and now it's starting to curl. 10-day there is starting to push. But because the daily chart has that 50-day moving average, that's a longer time frame, so this $8 area is going to be pretty strong resistance. Maybe. It may not matter. Again, if Bitcoin starts breaking out big or running up over 45,000, it may not matter whatsoever about any of the technical analysis. However, the SPY getting rejected, double top. You can see it. It's kind of hard to see on the 5-minute by going to the 1 hour. Look at this. This does not look good for the SPY. Cannot break 445 yet. Still struggling. Looking ugly. All right. Hey guys, I'll be right back. I'm going to take a quick little break while BKKT is kind of doing its thing. We'll see if it can break out here or not, because I think we're going to need a few minutes of it fumbling around. Let's pop back over to Bitcoin, keep an eye on it. And Bitcoin's still in the same place. So yeah, it's fine. I'll be right back, guys. All right, so we're still just peeking our way on up. We do have this nice short-term uptrend too, right there. So we're making an intraday triangle of consolidation up to that 77.5 area. And we're testing it right now. Let's see if we can break. Let's say, oh boy. All right, let's see. Come on. Holding up 770 as support on the bid. We just need to see that 775 break. There's a seller right here. At this 774, quite a bit of shares sitting there. Yeah, we got a lot of resistance at 775. Well, let's test. I'm going to look around real quick, make sure there's nothing else going on. TISI still slowly climbing. Virgin Galactic. Wow, I didn't realize Virgin Galactic was down that cheap. It was down to $8. I would have bought that at $8. Jesus Christ. I don't keep up with Virgin Galactic that close, but I know what Richard Branson's trying to do. But no, I did not realize this thing was that damn cheap. Yeah, see, last time I had charted this out, it was in this downtrend, but it was all the way up at 57. Interesting. We're going to keep that on watch for the week, just to see what it does. All right, BKKT is breaking over 775 at the moment. Let's see if we keep going. Yeah, we're looking pretty good on that hour chart. If we don't break here, it's going to have to come back down again. Bid's trying to stack at 775. And, ooh, bunch of them stacked but got taken out. There we go. They're still trying to stack. Stack, 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 stack. Stack, stack, stack. Very nice. Very nice. We may be getting a breakout here. Still resistance at 780 we got to get through. SPY's back over 445. Well, I do have multiple lessons on reading the level 2, but yeah, I can explain this if there's any new traders who need some explanation about what I'm looking at here on this level 2. So basically, I'm gonna keep it simple for you guys. This is like your window into supply and demand into transactions, right? So your bid side, you know, normally is the buy side. The ask side normally is the sell side. However, because you can sell the bid as a seller, your sell order can come up over here on the bid. So it's not necessarily all buying. Same thing with the ask side. It may not all be selling, right? You can buy the ask. You know, I don't have that button up here right now, but you can buy the ask. So your order of buying the ask would go on to this other side. So, bid and ask, it's the same thing as when you're putting the order in. Are you buying the bid? Are you buying the ask? Are you buying markets? So somewhere in between, or a little bit above or a little bit below. So you can get both orders on both sides. So that's why you got to be careful. Just because you see a bunch of orders stacking over here on the bid, these orders could be sell orders possibly. We're at a resistance area. So that's why it's important. I want to see bids continuing to stack, because if bids are continuing to stack on a support line, then more than likely that's a lot of buying. It could be shorting, but they can get squeezed out. But this is basically just your window into supply and demand and the transactions. Where are buyers sitting at? Where are sellers sitting at? Where are the majority of orders sitting at? Because we're like right here, we can see 742, there's 150, so 15,000 shares sitting down here. That's more than likely a buyer at 742, because he's way down here. I don't think he would be building a short position. If you were going to be building a short position, you'd be building it here at 775, looking for this to crack down. So I would say that's a buyer. But because we can see that down there, we know that there's some support probably right under 750. So we're just using this to confirm our support and resistance lines, as well as while we're in the trades looking to see the big orders come through and break a major resistance area. And normally you see the break, like right here, 775, there's 102. All this is resistance. None of these are buyers. Nobody's buying it on the ask at 775 at resistance. So this is all selling, trying to, keep it down. Which means if we have all that resistance, some of these orders on the bid could be shorters trying to grab it. So that's pretty much it. And then your time and sells right here, which is used with it, it's just your receipts. These orders don't always go through in your window of supply and demand here. But every single order that does go through is on this time and sells. So that's why I look at both. If I see 775 as a bunch of resistance, we're seeing clearly a bunch of sellers there. Then we want to see a bunch of 775s come through to break that off. A bunch of green 775s, a bunch of buys. Take out all those sellers. And let's see. So we're sitting at the 75. There's one 75. There's another 775. There's another one. Few of them, but not enough to break down that big seller. So, really mainly I mainly really only use this level 2 and time and sells at support and resistance lines, because in the middle right here, or whatever, if there's no resistance, like at the 737, when this thing was breaking up, like it bounced off of $7, so there wasn't really a lot of resistance till about 743. So right through here, I wouldn't be that concerned about it as long as there's more green than red. Because if you have more green than red on the time and sells, then obviously there's more buying than selling, right? So yeah, yeah, it's just another window, into, again, we're trading people. I always say this, we're not trading stocks, we're trading people's reactions to stocks and people's actions to stocks. So these are just windows into what people are doing. And we're just trying to read what the people are doing so we can figure out the direction of the stock. That's pretty much it. Like, what are these people doing right now? Look at here. We're buyers are obviously taking control. We're pushing over that 775. All those got taken out, right? So obviously, we're seeing a lot of green on both of these. We're pushing up. The bids are pushing up. The asks are pushing up. It's going to go up. But nothing is, but like David Davis said, nothing is perfect, right? All this is just by, um, like, I don't know what to say. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like, well, simply enough, none of these indicators, the charting, the level 2, the time and sells, none of it is set in concrete because we are trading people, and all of these things are indicators of what people's actions are, and because of that, um, boy, why am I having trouble here? Let me get my brain. I'm like trying to stay focused on what I'm saying, but I'm keeping an eye close on BKKT because it is pushing up here. Um, but yeah, it's not perfect. None of it's perfect because it's all a window into humans, and humans aren't perfect. So it's not. None of this is set in stone. No patterns are set in stone. No indicators are set in stone. They're all just guidelines, basically, to what human being action is being taken. And of course, there's algorithms too. There's robots, from the big institutions that's trading. But those robots don't really, you know, those bots are for big institutions to load up into positions because they can't just put $10 million in a stock at once. If they put $10 million at a stock at once, uh, it's going to shoot up, and that's not, they're not going to get a good entry by doing that. So they've got to buy in little bits of it at a time. So the algorithms, that's basically what they do. It's just all day buy and sell little positions until the institutions are happy with whatever position they're trying to get. But those robots, that's not really affecting us that much when we're day trading these lower float kind of penny stock range stocks. There's not going to be that much algorithm messing around in there because institutions just generally are not in these cheaper stocks. Most of these cheaper penny stocks like this, it's people moving them. It's retail traders, retail investors, and maybe some institutions coming in if it's a play where it's a good deal for them. But normally you're not going to be buying at the same time as the institutions. They just know too much. But anyway, as far as you know what we're doing here goes, mostly you're trading people, and even the algorithms was programmed by a person. So because people aren't perfect, none of this is perfect. None of this is an exact science. And that's why it is important to have a trading plan and manage your risk. As the whole reason that we manage risk is because we know human beings are not perfect, and that means that sometimes they will react in a weird way to a stock out of nowhere. They might just all of a sudden freak out. Or if there's some type of manipulation, company could dump it, whatever, if they've got common offerings, all that. If you really want to get real difficult, but you're not, for the most part, most trades, you're just trading people. Yeah, I know that sounds bad, the phrasing of trading people, but any SJWs can go and they can go F off. Because that's not what I mean by what I'm saying, obviously. But just in case, we are on social media. If any of those breadline winners are around in the stream, which they're probably not, because they don't know economics. They definitely ain't trading stocks. They think anything that makes you money is evil. What a silly time we live in. Yeah, so to elaborate on what Trading Ever After David said, the pieces to the big picture. What is the big picture, right? What's the big picture? Well, the big picture is we want to make a profit on any trade that we take. So if we want to make a profit, we got to see the whole entire picture of everything. That's why we look at the higher time frames. That's why we look at the level 2 time and sales. We use all of these things. These are all pieces to the bigger picture. That's why we look at past chart history. That's a piece. Past chart history tells us a whole bunch of information about how people have reacted in the past to a stock. And usually you can also see how they normally react. This one's a little bit volatile because it is a crypto stock, but every little piece is all the pieces to the one big picture of you being a consistent, profitable trader. And to be a consistent, profitable trader, you have to understand the big picture on every single trade that you take. The big picture is to make money, then we got to figure it out every single trade. How are we going to make that big picture of money happen out of this stock or whatever stock? Yes, exactly, Lightning Rick, exactly. Try to trade unemotionally based on other people's emotions. Exactly. That's why psychology is so important. That's why you hear me always, always ranting about psychology, and I'll go on long rants sometimes about psychology. It has nothing to do with anything, just because I find it interesting how people's brains work. It's actually entertaining to me too, because you're like, but anyway, I'm not even getting into that. I'll freak you guys out if I start getting too deep into all my psychological things that I do. But people are definitely going to be emotional, and that's a part of the flaws and the imperfectness of trading. Why you could never be 100% win ratio. It's just not possible because of the imperfectness and the emotions. But I've said this before. Before you can get an advantage against all the emotional traders, you first must psychologically evaluate yourself and take all the emotion out of your trading, right? Because once you, if you're trying to psychologically react to, or if you're trying to react to everybody else's psychology in the market, but your own personal psyche is freaking out because you don't know exactly what you're doing, or you're afraid to hold, or you're afraid to pull the trigger, all of that stuff. Well, it ain't going to matter about everybody else's psychology. Your own psychology is going to cause you to lose money. Your own psyche is going to beat you up all day long. I'm the perfect example of that. You guys have been following me for years. I let my psyche get Mike Tyson left and right sometimes. So you gotta first really self evaluate your own brain, work on discipline, and then once you've got yourself in check, then you can you go against everybody else who are emotional and don't have themselves in check. Andrew, you're new here. Just want to know, how much did you study to start trading independently? Yeah. Well, that is, you are helping, David Davis. I appreciate that. You're adding to what I'm talking about, and continuing to keep these lessons going with me. So I appreciate that a lot, David Davis. That's cool. But Andrew, yeah, how much did you study to start trading independently? So there's a couple of questions I want to ask you first, because the way you phrase that. The first question is, what do you mean by trading independently? Who are you trading with? If you like exactly, what do you mean by that? Are you following traders right now? Because you don't want to do that. So I'm gonna take a quick little break, but answer that question for me, please, and I'll address all this for you. But I just want to make sure that I'm getting the right question. Um, so yeah, yeah. What do you mean by the independently thing? And then once you address that, I'll answer the whole question. I just want to make sure that of something. So give me just a couple of minutes. I'll be right back, and Andrew, we'll get you on the right path, buddy. No worries. You came to the right place. We ain't trying to sell you nothing, and we ain't trying to cause any nonsense or pump and dumps or any of that. We're just regular old people, just trading a little bit of stocks, having a little bit of fun, making a little bit of money. But I'll be right back. All right. So BKKT is up to $8. See if it's going to break out. This is the breakout point. If it can break that resistance. Um okay. So, Andrew, there's not any trading is for everybody. Let me put it that way. You know, whether it's day trading stocks or swing trading stocks or long-term investing or trading cryptos, whatever it is, it's for you. Let me tell you why. Okay? Right now, you're new to trading. How much do you know about what is going on with our current economic conditions? Like, do you know what inflation is at? And do you know why we have high inflation? And do you have an idea of where we're heading soon? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you have a savings account right this second and all your money, all your US dollar is in the savings account, you're losing money. You're not saving money. It's not a savings account, it's a losing account. It might be. But no, this is something like new traders and stuff, and it's not even about just new traders, it's about just being an entrepreneur and trying to get out of the hamster wheel. The whole 9 to 5 job and all of that is a hamster wheel. It's designed to keep us in it. So right now, if you have a savings account and the top interest you're gaining on your savings account is 1.5%, well, inflation's at 15%, so you're losing negative 14% of the value of your US dollar. So, savings accounts are not for you. Trading, investing, that stuff, that type of stuff, this stuff, what we're doing, that is for you. You're at the right place, because most people don't even know that. They don't even realize they put all their money in a savings account. And look, before inflation was high, before we started having all these economic problems, inflation, the Federal Reserve kept it. Their target inflation goal is 2%. So even before the pandemic and all of that, if you had a savings account, you were still losing money. You were only losing a 0.5% then, but you were still losing money. Savings accounts have been a hoodoo for the longest time. So the reason why you want to be a trader or be it's not even about being a trader actually. It's about not losing your value and gaining your value, building your wealth. US dollars are not valuable. They are pieces of paper, they are a currency. They have nothing back in their value. And we are still breaking out on BKKT, so this is beautiful. Let me real quick see where the next resistance line is so I know where to sell at. About 825. Let's see if it can push up to 825. But beautiful breakout. Just beautiful. So far, pretty good trading day today. Of course, I'm not trading like an idiot today, so that may be the reason why I'm trading decently. Good morning, might be. No, it is. It is important that I go that deep. It is very important that I go this deep because if you do not realize what is going on, you're going to be blind in this market, right? The stock market is heavily influenced by any word that Jerome Powell says. Every time that there's a Jerome Powell announcement, the stock market goes sideways and does nothing. But, stock market trading might not be for you. You might like cryptos. Me personally, I trade stocks. I trade cryptos. I buy gold and silver. I don't really trade it. I just like to keep it. But, I trade everything. And I won't go on the full spill because I know a lot of you guys have already heard it. So, another day, I'm sure there'll be another full spill of why economic and financial education is so important. Because right now, if you are not financially educated on economics and all of this, and you don't got to go to college and get a 4-year degree or none of that nonsense. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is just do your own research, and you'll see everything I'm talking about, and you'll realize that the way we are raised to think is completely wrong. So, do your own research on all of that. But as far as trading goes, just trading stocks off of technical analysis, if you're trying to make some extra money on the side, yeah, no problem, man. This is, you don't have to really get into all that deepness too much if you're just trading intraday, looking for a quick pop on something, whether it be a 10-minute in and out trade or a 30-minute in and out trade, whatever. It's pretty simple. And if you look at like a video game, I don't know if you're a gamer or not, there's definitely a lot of similarities to be able to play it like a game. And we are getting rejected off of $8 here. Going to my 1 hour chart. But as far as, I think what you meant by independently was you meant by how long does it take to study to be a trader to where you can consistently be profitable, where that can be your main source of income. And the timing it takes to learn depends on you. Trading, there's a bit of a new language to it, just because there's terms and stuff that people have made up and the government's put in and all of this stuff. Used to, you could, Lori Lee. I don't know about that anymore. I'm gonna disagree with you on that, Lori. But that is an option. It's your own personal prerogative. But you guys know how I feel about long term. If it's not cash flowing, I don't really, I don't like locking up capital for a long time. But it's, every trader's different. That's the thing. Every single person is different. You're your own individual. So it may take you, Orlando took a couple of months to learn at 18 years old. And actually he was learning a little bit before that. And he's a pretty good trader now. But that kid was fast. He was studying constantly. He was learning the information. He was in the markets, paper trading for free, not risking any real money. He was learning everything. And he learned it super quick. It took him 4 months to get decent. He's profitable. Me, it's taken me a while. And as I said, even last year, my stock trading, I was in the negative. I was in the negative $1,000 on the total year. My crypto trading, however, I was up quite a bit on, so it didn't really matter. I could go through all that yesterday, but blah, blah, blah. But anyway, um, I personally don't use day trading stocks as my only source of income. So if you want to get out of the hamster wheel, learning trading and investing is definitely going to help you. And the more income streams you can have, the better. So, like, there are people out there who solely only day trade stocks as their sole main source of income. I am not one of those people because if something happens or you go on a lose streak or if the stock market's going sideways for months like it's been, there's not been, there's been some rips to make money and stuff, but there's not been a ton of consistency. If this cracks back below 75, see 773. I'm gonna put a stop loss. Oh, because we did get rejected at 8. I'm gonna put a stop loss. Let's put it right under 780. Let's put it at 779. And that way, if this does turn around, I am still in the profit. It may not be much. Like I said, I'm taking whatever the market gives me. CFVI still up over 15, trying to hold. And those are my only two positions besides this little 5 shares on BTCS. I just keep 5 shares in BTCS for the moment until we see more volume coming back in. That's literally the only stock I'm holding long term is 5 shares of BTCS. Oh, look. And because, yeah, I'm going to get stopped out here more than likely. See, 780 is trying to hold that support, but this peak right here at that resistance of $8 probably going to pull back. And remember the uptrend is way back down here at 720. So, because my entry is 750, I'm not willing to hold. I'm just going to take this profit if it cracks here. No reason not to take any profit. Let's see. Yep. Buy low, sell high. That is exactly right, Lori Lee. The price action. Let's see, trading ever after. I active trade because long term goes up and down. Lose some, gain some. Hate that. Yeah, exactly. Okay, One Life. So tell me how to get to a 250K income a year. You said that like that was so simple. Now somehow we've started talking about weed. Selling weed to get to 250K. You'd have to sell a lot of you to make 250K a year in selling weed. You would have to be selling a lot of weed. There's not a lot of profit margins on weed. You know, even the dispensaries are still charging the same as street prices and stuff because it takes a while to grow and all of that stuff. So I mean, you would have to sell it like no. I mean, you. Yeah, and there's the crack right there. Like you'd have to sell an unbelievably crazy amount of weed a year to profit 250K. That's like you would need fields or some type of Mexican cartel plug or something like that. Weed's not that profitable of a thing. Um, for dispensaries and stuff, it is because they have plenty of money, but you're not going to be able to sell weed and get to 250K in residual income before the cops get you. So that's not a good option. Trust me. You guys listen to me when it comes to that stuff. My younger days were wild. I know all about it. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. I did what I did, but it did give me a lot of information. Anyway. Nice. Nice, David. Aussie Blue. Um, no, I'm not. I'm not saying I'm not. You're proud of. If you if you knew about my past, you probably wouldn't. What I'm saying is, I don't have any problem with marijuana. You guys should know that by now. What I'm saying is, the life of selling things like that. Although marijuana is the least, because it is the least profitable thing, it comes with the least risk. Uh, I wasn't necessarily talking about marijuana in that sense, or only marijuana. Yeah, there's inflation for you bought nickel bags for $5. I know nickel. We'll get banned, man. We'll get banned from YouTube. This is a monetized channel. We can't be talking like all this crazy stuff. Why you guys want to do this to me? I'm already surprised every day that I'm still on YouTube. All right. If you're good at sales, you can get a career. But again, see, I don't want a career. I don't want a career going and having to sell people things. I don't want to work for somebody else. That's why I have multiple streams of income. I don't need a $250,000 career job to make money. And one thing that you said one life, you to elaborate on, you said it takes money to make money. There's one specific thing that you left out. Whose money, right? Because in real estate, you don't have to have any money. You know, as entrepreneurs, we don't like to use our own money. So you don't have to have money to make money. You just have to have access to somebody else's money to make money, right? A lot of people don't think about that. They're like, "Oh, I need to make $100,000 so I can do this, this, and this." Well, if you're going to buy an apartment complex for $100,000, then you're going to want to be making a cash flow off of it. Is this 2008? It's going to be way worse than 2008. I mean, if you've got a career already, you went to college and did all of that nonsense, then good for you. Take that money and get out of that rat race. Get out of the hamster wheel one way. Me, on the other hand, I went to college for one day, and when I was 18, and my financial aid didn't go through, and I walked in that office, and they said, "You're going to have to pay out of pocket." And I said, "You're going to have to catch me outside. How about that?" And I walked out of that college, and I ain't never been back to college once. So, Like me personally, like I was saying, my past history, um, there's a lot of things that I had to dig myself out of. Bad credit, all of that stuff, and I didn't have a career making $250,000. I got out of the clink seven. Well, let's see what 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago, and immediately started grinding, started working as a restaurant cook and learning everything I could learn about the financial systems. How is it that all these old rich white guys continue to get rich and all that stuff? That was the question I had while I was sitting there thinking about what I had did. And I didn't do anything violent, so don't worry about that. But but yeah, I didn't have 250K to start out or a nice career or none of that. So not everybody's going to have that option. I basically ruined my life in the middle of my in my early 20s and had to start over again. So starting over from nothing and to where I'm at now after 8 years, I'm pretty happy with that. I have decent credit now. I have tons of credit lines. I have access to all types of people's money. That's not my money. And I have you know, all my investments, my gold and silver, the real estate investing that I do, all this stuff that's going on. I never had 250K a year to do that. But here's the thing. Here's what you got to think about, right? Time is our most valuable asset. If I ask you the question, do you want to make 250K a year for the rest of your life and spend 50 to 60 hours a week doing that? Or do you want to work 50, 60 hours a week for 2 years trying to start your business, start your multiple streams of income, and then never have to work again? Which choice do you want? Do you want to be going through the whole system and doing all that, working 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week to make that money, which they're going to take taxes directly out of? So you're going to lose part of that money. If you're in that high of a tax bracket, 250,000, they're going to take a lot of that money. Um, yeah, again, you work for somebody else, so you got to get up at a certain time that they tell you every morning. You got to take your breaks whenever they tell you at a certain time. Like if you like being, a monkey in a cage, have at it. But if you spend the same amount of time a week studying trading, studying real estate, studying starting your own business and actually doing it, starting it. Don't just study and study and study. Start doing. Because again, time is our most valuable asset. So you can learn while you're doing. You can take action and learn some things the hard way. That's okay. Those lessons might slow you down a little bit. It's not easy starting a business. It's not easy doing this to start out. So that's up to you. You need $250,000 from some company that controls basically every move in your life if you want to do that trade off. But baby, let me tell you, I feel so good not having to answer to anybody but my wife. Wealthy people work all the time, but they don't work for other people. There's a difference between the type of work I'm talking about. That's why I said you can put in the same 50, 60 hours a week as a entrepreneur doing whatever you're trying to do, and that's still working. I don't even know how. I don't even know what type of thing that is. Yeah, there you go. If you're a producer, you would make your own schedule. I'd be so good in sales. I don't, you know, part of the reason why it's not so much that I would be good in sales necessarily. I don't know that. I have not really ever, you know, the main thing that I sell is myself on the internet, and I'm not putting polish on a turd and trying to sell it to you. You just get the full on turd that I am because I'm not trying to sell it. I'm not trying to sell anything. Um, but sales is really easy. My wife is fantastic at sales. She's killing it right now at this. As It's a sales job, but she has to build her own clients and all that. But she's killing it selling jewelry and gold coins and silver coins. Let's go, you know. Um, but basically, I mean, sales is easy once you understand people. Again, everything we use for the big picture here in the stock market for all these stocks and stuff, it's people, right? So we're learning the psychological profiles of people, and once you understand a person's psychological profile, all you got to do is just use psychology to let them realize that they want to buy whatever you're selling, right? You don't make the decision for them, and that's why pushy salesmen don't make good salesmen, like pushing them, buy this, oh, I got this great. No, 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 no. People don't want that. People don't want you to tell them what to do. People want to make the decision themselves. So from a psychological standpoint, you have to put it in their head that they are the ones making the decision, but they only have one real decision, right? So you give them two options, but both options are to buy something, right? So if I say, hey, whatever the sales position is, let's just pretend for a minute. I call the client and I'm like, hey, let's say I'm selling shoes, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, hey, yeah, good, 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 all that stuff. And I'm like, listen, I got a good deal for you right now, but I actually have two deals. One is this nice leather Italian pair of shoes. I know you like your leather Italian, and we got a 50% discount on them. The other deal right now is, excuse me, on these Nikes. I got the 40% off on the Nikes. So you presented that potential sell, that person, two options, but neither one of those options was to not buy anything. So in their head, they're going to be thinking about those two options instead of not buying anything whatsoever. So when they make the decision of which one they want to buy, you never gave them a real decision, but they're going to buy something because they think they're making the decision. And that's basically all sales is. It's just psychological little games. Let's see. I see all the comments about me when I said I'm selling myself. Yeah, those are good comments. Sicilian, yeah. I saw you say the scanner worked. That's awesome, man. And you got almost $1 profit out of KSCP. Nice job, my friend. Nice job. I took a trade on KSCP too. What did you trade about the same? Let's see, you got in at 780. Oh, you got in way better, man. Perfect trade, Sicilian. Fantastic work. Andrew, if you're still in here, Sicilian is a trader who has been relatively new, been with us for the last, I don't know, what have you been with us for about a year now. And amazing, amazing play. You beat me on that. That's what I was saying when I was in this trade, was if I could have got the entry there off of that 780, that would have been perfect off of this trend line. So very, very nice job, Sicilian, on that trade. Austin Sowers, the trading is going decent today. You know, I locked in a little $20 profit on BKKT. Locked in 1128 on KSCP. Still in CFVI, but I'm up a couple of dollars on it. And then KAVL, I locked out a little bit on this swing because it just wasn't doing much. So $8 there. So far, I am up 20, let's see, 31, 40. I'm up about $43 right now. Depending on if CVFI continues to rip, maybe more, or if it drops, it doesn't. So, you know, nothing crazy. Little gains, but I'm not taking any losses today. Actually, I haven't taken any losses. I don't think I've taken any losses this week because those two trades, yeah, because see, that's right. CFEI was from yesterday. Two of those swings was from Friday. And then the only trade I took today was KCSP. So yeah, I haven't had a loss this week yet. I'm not making a ton of money, but you know, at least I'm not taking any losses. So let's pivot over here to CVFI as this is starting to come up. This took it a while, but it is starting to approach this 1525 area. That's some resistance. And last time it broke that right here, it shot all the way up to $16. So if we can get a re-break of 1525, we may see another pop up, and that may be some more profits for me to lock in. So I mean, nothing amazing, but I'm not being a stupid trader today, so that's a good thing. Yeah, Sicilian, exactly, man. That's one of my problems too. Is the super volatile stocks or gap ups and stuff like that? They will, you know, get my attention and can distract me from my original plays. But that's part of the reason why I don't stream until like 9:30, 9ish, 9:30, something like that, because I don't even want to look at the market in the first 30 minutes because I know not that there's anything really wrong with the first 30 minutes, but I know personally that first 30 minutes causes me to make stupid decisions, and a lot of my losses. Speaking of, exactly, stay away from the gaps when they happen. Because if you're buying a gap up, then you're buying a stock at a higher price. You're not buying it low necessarily if it's already gapped up. You're kind of buying it high for the most part. Well, yeah, CFVI is looking beautiful. Hold that 10-day right there on the hour. So I'm just going to continue to hold it for a little while longer. I think we're building higher lows. So low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and we're building higher highs. I can move that downtrend because we broke it, but higher high, higher high, higher high. So more than likely, because we are building that, we are going to have a push up soon. More than likely. I could be totally wrong. If the SPY does something crazy, that could pull it out, but you can see this nice little healthy upwards movement over the last 4 days on this stock. But when we draw that, let me actually straighten that out a little bit. It's kind of more like that. Yeah, there we go. Because the peaks, we want to be touching the peaks on the line on all the peaks. So it is off a little uptrend, about $1, but $15 is some strong support, so it's trying to hold. But I'm in at 14.89, so I'm in right here below the low of the day. But yeah, what I've tried to start doing is stop paying attention so much to what is breaking out that morning, unless it's a really good setup. Like TISI was possibly a good setup, but it never got up there. It couldn't break that 125, so that's why I didn't trade it. But if you know, it's a different thing. Let's see, Virgin Galactic still was pushing up. It's a different thing when looking at your scanner in the morning and seeing a stock that's up 100% and trying to catch the bounces off of that instead of keeping an eye on a few plays. Like that 200 above the 200-day scanner is usually how I find a lot of these plays. The one that Sicilian is talking about. Ooh, KCSP actually looks like it may try to go again here. Throwing a little doji right there and getting some momentum back up to the uptrend. Let's see, CVFI, you're still holding around at 515, so not much going on there. Let's check the indexes here, and then I'm probably going to call the day here in a few minutes. So if you guys have any questions or any of that, go ahead and get that in. Let's see, let me look on the daily chart here. So Bitcoin futures, like I said, Bitcoin just got to break 45,000 and it will be back bullish. The Dow Jones came all the way down to our trend line, but did get bought up yesterday. But still, the Dow Jones trend line is still way up here over 35,000. So it's got a ways to try to rebound. I mean, there is a little kind of new uptrend possibly started, but I'm not going to give too much weight to that because our downtrend is more important. Until that downtrend breaks, it's not bullish. Of course, the dollar has gotten a little bit of pops up in the last few days because of all the money coming out of the stock market. Ethereum holding above 3,000. Same thing as Bitcoin, though. Got to get through all of these EMAs to get back bullish. Gold had a nice breakout yesterday and last week up to 1880, has pulled back to about 1850. I want to see 1850 hold as new support for gold, and I think it will. I think we're just getting started. I'm expecting gold to get up over 2,000 an ounce at some time this year with inflation. Real estate market looks worse than the SPY. So you can see we've got this downtrend on the real estate index, which to me is beautiful because I'm looking for it to come down quite a bit. because real estate is ultimately the number one place of where it's at. Silver in this big consolidation wedge did get a little rebound with gold, but this silver is going to do some type of move soon, as this wedge has been going on since last September. And then oil up to 95 today. No surprise there. That's why I keep saying. I actually got all the way up to 96. But like I said, oil's going to keep running. If inflation's high and we're having all these problems and issues, and oil will just keep going and going. So kind of everything kind of in limbo today. You know, Bitcoin and Ethereum, crypto market, they're getting some rebounds, little rebounds. Stock market's getting a little rebound. I don't know. We'll see. I'm so bearish on the stock market. I don't know. Let's see here. Austin Sowers. Yeah, I mean, if you find one stock that you can consistently trade over and over again and make profit off of it, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to trade, a different stock every day. If you've got one that you like and you've studied it and you know how it moves for the most part, then stick to that one stock. The name of the game is make money. It doesn't matter how you make it as long as you make it. So if that's working, keep going back to gamble GMBL is working, and keep trying it. Let's see. Lori Lee. How often do bio stocks crash after an FDA approval followed by, yeah, pretty much what David said. Even if they do, even sometimes if they have FDA approval and everything is smooth and all that, it can be the best FDA approval and still we see them crash. There's just so many. You have to think about that sector, right? Because it's biopharma. For one, you have huge billion-dollar biopharm companies already at the top. So all of these cheap companies that are coming in are trying to compete with them. And they've got to get some type of drug that can make them money before they run out of money, because they start out either with investors' money or loans or whatever they take out to do all their research. It takes money to make any type of drug. So because of the main players kind of control the sector, a lot of these new companies don't make it. They've got to define a drug, but how many different types of diseases are out there? You go into your pharmacy and you look at all the different medications. There's so many medications. You know what I mean? So there's just so much competition, so much supply of biopharm stocks, if you want to look at it that way, that most of the time they're just going to die off. They're usually nonsense. The biopharm companies that are cheap, that usually do come out with an actual drug that's going to be sold for a good amount of money, usually get bought out by the big pharma companies because they have because the small company will have the patent. You're a small company and Moderna comes in and says, hey, we'll give you $100 million for the patent. What are you going to do? You're going to sell the patent for $100 million because you haven't even made a drug yet. You're just starting to make the drug. The whole point of making the drug in the first place was to make your company a lot of money. So if a big pharma company wants to come buy your patent for your drug, so a lot of them are cash grabs. A lot of them are just trash companies that, people started. Just businesses in general. Not every business makes it. A lot more businesses fail than they do survive. So you just got to kind of think about that whole sector and what it involves. Yeah. So, I mean, that's why That's why you don't ever see me excited about FDA approval or phase 3 positive news or any of that. Maybe for a quick day trade, but as far as holding and swinging into any of that, your probability is really low because of all that stuff I just said. Let's see. What are my thoughts on long-term investments? I told you guys I'd be getting into this. I told myself after Facebook took a dump, I would buy it if it got to 210 for a buy and hold for more than a year. It's getting close. I don't know though. Not saying buy at 210. Yeah, yeah. So basically, that's a good point. Trading ever after Facebook took a dump bigger than any stock ever. I don't like Facebook anyway. I don't like nothing to do with it. I don't like Zuckerberg. I think if he had spent any time in real life, if he was to walk into some hood or something, Zuckerberg would probably get punched out and not be like a lot of these CEOs of these companies are soft, sweethearts. they're very soft sweethearts. So, but yeah, Zuckerberg himself, I don't like him. I don't like Facebook. I don't like none of it. But as far as long-term investing goes, it depends on the investing, but long-term holding stocks, not a fan of it. And to keep from getting into it too much and going on a big spill, number one, you're locking up your capital, right? You're locking your money up for 30, 40 years or something. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me. I want my capital continually working for me. I don't want it locked up like that. Then on top of that, inflation. Anybody who... Well, inflation, and I'm very bearish on the stock market as well right now. So to me, I like I said, the only stocks that I have is this 5 shares of BTCS and this 10 shares of CVFI right now. I'm day trading the markets until the market has, and this is why. This is why, like, I'm not, because I continually hear the same argument. Oh, the market always goes back up, so it doesn't matter when you buy as long as you're buying all the time for long-term investments. But right now, this is the monthly chart on the S&P 500, right? This was the 2008 housing market crash. Since then, quantitative easing from the Feds, they've pumped so much money into the stock market. We're way up here. Now, if the name of the game is buy low, sell high, if you're buying long term right now, does this look like you're buying low? Like, looking at this overall chart of the S&P 500 index, what about this looks like you're buying low for long-term investing? Do you think in 10 years the stock market's going to continue to go straight up? It's going to be at 1,000 in 10 years possibly? Because this is natural, but this is not natural whatsoever. This is all manipulated stock market. So for one, I'm not going to put money into anything long-term in a market that is claimed to be the free market of the world by all of our people in power, yet there's nothing free about this market. There's been Federal Reserve manipulation for 14 years. There's nothing, it's not a free market. This is an artificial market. So at some point, we're going to come down from this.
We can't just keep peaking like that. It's not natural at all. Even if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin had the big spike up, but it had a big pullback. Had another big spike up and another big pullback we just went through. The SPY, I don't know. So that's just me. That's why I'm just bearish on the market. So, if you're looking long term, that's your prerogative. Do what you got to do. But that's my thoughts on it. Very nice, Lori Lee. That's a nice trend reversal analysis there for entries. Um, see, that's the thing. I don't think this is going to be a repeat. Look at this chart. The COVID dip right here was bigger than the 2008 dip. This little COVID dip was bigger than that dip. The type of correction we're looking at is 6 times the size of this one of 2008. And part of that is because we're around 6 to 10 times the amount of debt in the government as than we had in 2008. All of this is also what happened to our government debt. So I I don't know. Like yeah, and just me, I just can't. I can't. Um, Nothing is the same as 2008. It's not like looking at the charts. It's totally different. Now you can use 2008 as a base to your start, but yeah, craziness. Um, no, that's not what. Again, One Life, you are so backwards. This is so backwards. Wealthy people buy and hold, creating generational wealth. They're not buying and holding stocks up here at the top. Wealthy people are going to be buying them at the bottom. The wealthy people bought all here in this COVID dip and made all of this money. And again, the wealthy people are in dividend stocks. They're in things that gain more money the longer they're in them. They're cash flowing. So it's not, they did. If you're rich already, you're not creating generational wealth. You've already created generational wealth. Adding stocks into it is not anything else. Like that's not like you can't. It's such a weird backwards view that you have. You have, let's see, okay. You have a buy and hold in BABA at the moment, about 10% of my wealth, because I agree the U.S. market is extremely overvalued. That wager is me saying China will outperform the U.S. in the years to come. You got it, bud. This is what I've been talking about. China's has all the manufacturing. We don't have any manufacturing here. Yeah, but one life. If you're speaking about entrepreneurism, you cannot take one little piece and say, "Oh, wealthy people do this one thing." That doesn't teach anybody anything. Wealthy people do this one thing. They do this one thing in a stock market. That's how they're wealthy. No, that was the statement you made, and that doesn't make any sense. That's why I was really confused at what you're trying to say. It still doesn't make sense. Because your first statement was wealthy people create wealth by buying stocks and all of that. But that's not it. They don't create wealth by buying stocks. You create wealth by passive income, multiple streams of income. Wealthy people are wealthy unless they were born wealthy. Um, if they became wealthy, it's because they created multiple streams of income, not just buying a stock and hoping it goes up 60 years later. Think about that for a second. Let me put it in that simple of place. Think about that. As day traders, let me go back over to Thinkorswim too, because I forgot I'm in CVFI. As day traders, I'm blanking out here. Oh yeah, yeah. The long term and versus short term. What is Let me ask you this one, life. What's going to happen in 30 years? Do you have any idea what's going to happen in 30 years? Honestly, you're going to answer that question as you don't. I mean, anybody who says they know what's going to happen in 30 years is a crackpot. So, if you don't know what's going to happen in 30 years, then that means you don't know what's going to happen with your investment. If your investment is meant to hold until 30 years or 20 years, you have no idea what could happen to it between then and there. The company could go out of business. I mean, that's a lot of time for a company. So, if you don't know, then why would you do it? If you don't know the outcome or have a good idea of the outcome, and I know what you're going to say. I know exactly what you're going to say. The stock market has always gone up. But again, that's only, 200, 300 years of this U.S. stock market. And we already looked at the chart. So, mom, dad stuff. No, I just, one life's a smart guy. He knows what he's talking about for the most part, but he says things that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the last 30 years, of course, it annually returned 10 to 12.5%. The last 12 years, the Federal Reserve has pumped money into the market. The last 12 years, the reason why it's performed 10% above everything is because the Federal Reserve has been buying the stocks and the bonds. They told us that. That's not, a conspiracy theory. So again, my original point, my whole point, going back to that chart again. Where are you at, chart? We know the feds have caused all of this since 2018. Who in their right mind is going to come in and buy an overvalued market that has been overvalued by the Federal Reserve themselves with worthless paper US dollar currency? The market has been super inflated. So who's going to come in and buy from the feds right here? 10 years or 12 years, whatever. Actually, let's see. It's 2022, so 2008, that'd be 14 years. So the last um, decade and a half has been all of this QE. Like, who's going to buy up here? Who is going to come behind the feds and buy up the billions and billions and billions that they have on their balance sheet at high prices like this? It's not the same as 2008, where everything was these little guys. We're talking about this massive, massive rip, artificial rip. The institutions know what happens. Everybody knew what happened. If you were paying attention, the feds told us they were doing this. They told us they were doing this QE. And now they're telling us that they're going to probably stop doing the QE. But like, who is going to buy up here? I don't want to. I'm not buying at the top of this chart. Like, that's if this was a day trading, if we were looking at this and this was a 15-minute chart, right? This is a 15-minute chart for KCPF or whatever. One Life, would you buy this as a day trade right here at the top today, right now? If this was a 15-minute chart, would you buy here? I just want you to answer that question. If this was a 15-minute chart on a regular day trade, would you buy here? Answer that. Yes or no? No paragraphs and no extra stuff. Just a quick yes or no. That's all I need. Keep it simple. Eric Kemper, hell no. Stocks and chomps, I'll buy $2 under on a short position. You didn't answer my question. Would you buy here? That's not answering my question. What is the people that buy it? What are you even talking about? Answer this question, yes or no. Would you buy this chart pattern? Ignore it's the SPY, ignore everything else off of straight technical analysis. If this was a 15-minute chart on one of your day trades, would you buy this right here? That's a yes or no question. Like Eric Kemper said, hell no. Now, I could be totally wrong. All I'm saying is I'm just pointing at the obvious, right? Like, I'm not, maybe somehow the government can get out of this $30 trillion in debt, and maybe they can get inflation down and all this stuff. But they couldn't do it in 2008 when we were in this area. So I don't know why people think they can do it way up here. Where'd you answer my question? I don't see a yes or no anywhere. That's not the answer to my question. There is a specific reason why I'm asking you this question. This is why you and Daniel B can never have discussions, because you will not you're arguing with me a question. I ask you a simple yes or no question and you're arguing the question. That's not getting us anywhere. You're just wasting everybody's time. Yes or no, would you buy this if this was on a 15-minute chart on one of your normal trades? I didn't ask you how investment portfolios were built. I know how investment portfolios are built. But again, I mean, what? Where? So you don't buy here. Where are you going to buy at? What if the market keeps going up? Are you going to miss? Are you going to keep adding? Or if the market crashes and it keeps going down and down and down, you're just going to keep adding, catching the falling knife, and then hoping 30 years that the stock market gets back up to these previous highs that only happened because the Feds artificially printed it up? Like, I know the process of building a long-term portfolio. That's not the point. You're arguing how to build a long-term portfolio against my whole point of you are buying behind the Feds. If you are going to be buying right now and for the next 10 years, you're going to be buying the Fed's balance sheet. That's what you're buying. You're not buying at any type of good prices. Like, we shouldn't even be this high. In 2008, if they wouldn't have started quantitative easing here, the market would have dropped more, and then we would have had a nice natural correction and came back up. There's no way in this short a time period we'd be way up here like this. This is insane. So at what point do you start buying? If you're not buying here because you're going to accumulate your portfolio, when are you going to start building that portfolio? Remember, time is your most valuable asset. If you can't buy right now, why the stock market is all-time highs, and now you got to wait 5-10 more years to get your entries into your long-term portfolio, and you're 40 years old, so now you're 50 years old. You spent 2 years waiting for damn entries or accumulating your long-term portfolio. Well, now you've only got 20 more years left alive. By the time you get to cash out that money that you've been buying these dips on, you're going to be 70 years old, and you're going to be geriatric and not be able to enjoy your life or the money. And that is if the stock market even goes up. If it never goes up, then you lose your money. So the benefits do not outweigh. I mean, it's not a benefit. Me having some money for when I'm 75 years old, what benefit? How does that benefit me in any way? I don't need it at 75 years old. I need it now. I need it in the next couple of years so I can continue to build my cash flowing assets, so by the time I'm 40, I can retire and I have at least 30 to 35 years, maybe the rest of my life, to enjoy it and do what I want. And I don't have to be worried about my 401k or my long-term investment portfolio when I've got 10 cash flowing apartment buildings that's making way more money than a long-term portfolio would make. Doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. What do you mean we can have the same discussion about day trading? I mean, you can have both. I'm not talking anybody out of doing anything. I'm just telling you my thoughts on it. You know, I was asked my thoughts on long-term investing and portfolios and stuff, so that's my thoughts. I mean, you don't have to think the way I think. There's no problem with that. I disagree with you in life, and that's fine. But you know, if we're going to have the discussion, and I point certain things out, and you have no response for them, other than vague general outlines, and you know, I mean, that's fine. Like, it's not. It's good. You know, it's good we're having this debate for other people to learn from. There's some value in here from both sides. But me personally, I'm J.G. Wentworth, baby. I want my money now. What do you mean, what kind of logic is that? I'm not a perma bear. If the stock market would pull back and have a real correction, then I'd be bullish on the stock market. I'm not a perma bear. It's just the market is permanently going up, and at one point it's going to have a big crash. It's going to be a very nasty crash. Things don't go straight up. They can't keep going straight up. There's going to be a correction one way or another at some point in time. And when this correction finally does happen, if you think it's going to be a small correction, then have at it. Me personally, everything that I've looked at, I'm not seeing anything about a small correction. Again, who's going to buy above the Feds? Who's going to buy from the Federal Reserve, who's selling their stocks at all-time highs? David Davis. Come on, what? I don't even know what you're asking me. You can't have both? I don't know what you're talking about. Like I said, this is my thoughts, It's just my perspective on it. You can disagree with me one life, that's fine. Everybody can disagree. But, when I'm showing you charts and showing you inflation statistics and, showing the whole picture of what's going on economically, and your opinion is simply, your whole argument is simply, oh, the market always goes up, which I originally said would be the argument. The market always goes up. Those are the people who get caught the worst in these big crashes. And let's be honest. Most people don't have the diamond hands to hold through a crash. Right? If most people have the majority of their money in their 401k or in their, say they just have their own long-term portfolio they've been building, and all of a sudden everything goes red and starts crashing, well, why is everything crashing? Because those people with the long-term portfolios started selling everything because they started panic selling. So, are you going to... Let me ask you that question. Are you going to diamond hands this bad boy? Are you diamond hands in the SPY? Is that your argument? Diamond hands on the SPY, one life? No, I didn't say that. Yeah, not even doing this. We're not going to have this. This is a Daniel B. This is a Daniel B debate. I hate debates when people do this. So the market will never see a high ever again is what you're saying. At what point in time did I ever say that? Not once. Not once. So now you're just arguing nonsense. You're just making stuff up. So that's why, we're going to call it a day. Let's just agree to disagree. One life, buddy. So, all right, guys. Appreciate everybody joining me as always. Only trade that I'm left in is CFVI. Still holding above 15. Still have not took a loss on this week yet, which is amazing, even though I'm not making very much money. They're small wins. But in this volatility, I will take the small wins because they will add up as long as the losses are less and smaller. You guys have a great rest of your day. If you haven't yet, be sure, go sign up. We have 9 spots left, frameworkfortune.com. And you'll be able to get access to the Discord group. And the reason why I say we have 9 spots left is because the first 100 members of the frameworkfortune.com website will be getting an airdrop from our Framework Fortune token that is already out. It is officially listed on the Solana registry, and now we are in the process of getting ready for airdrop. So 9 spots left for that first 100 members of the website. It's free to sign up. There's no paywalls. There's no extra things. None of that. You can access the Discord. But yeah, if you want to get some of the Framework Fortune token in the beginning of this project, which I know sounds like, what is he doing with a token? What is all that? Wait till you see the white papers and see what we actually have in the works for this crypto project. It's going to be hopefully something that helps all traders in the future and breaks us away from so much centralization in trading in the markets. But anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there.